Hello everybody, welcome back to Danganronpa. The last episode, we investigated Chihiro's murder. I have my suspicions about a lot of people, but nothing concrete. Anyway, let's start the trial. We have no choice, right? We have to do this.
It's true.
Yeah. He gave a small nod in reply. With one last deep breath, I walked towards the elevator on shaky legs. With each step forward, I could feel my heart starting to race faster and faster. As soon as everyone was on, the elevator began to descend. I couldn't get a handle on my emotions, couldn't stop speculating. The steel box sank with heavy clunking sounds deeper and deeper into the ground. And as we went deeper, the uneasiness in my heart grew bigger and bigger. The elevator was unaffected, however, and it continued to descend without hesitation. Until finally, it came to a sudden stop. What do you think? I redecorated. Isn't it so fresh? Isn't it so exciting? Don't waste our time with stupid questions. Let's get this over with.
Very nice.
You're raring to go. Gotta say, I don't hate it at all. Not at all.
Well,
Okay then, let's get this show on the road.
thrills, chills,
Everyone,
kills.
please find your assigned seats. And so, the curtain opened once again. A deadly judgment, a deadly deception, a deadly betrayal. A deadly riddle, a deadly defense, a deadly faith. A deadly class trial. That goes. I think I would have new ones, right? Vocabulary. Increase his bullet capacity. Effective during the bullet time battle. Handiwork. Allows you to reload 2 bullets at once. Effective during the bullet time battle. Which one was the bullet time battle? Oh yeah, that was like the rhythm game. I don't have anything else to put it in. Oh. Let's go. Class trial.
Let's
Alright.
begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate. Okay then. So, first off, let's talk about the murder weapon!
First, we have to make clear what was used to deliver the fatal blow. Locker room dumbbell. That's it?
Chihiro's fatal injury. It appears it was a head wound.
According to the Monokuma file, the killer used a blunt instrument. But what kind of blunt instrument could it have been?
I bet it was an iron pipe.
What?
Interesting. That certainly would make for a powerful weapon.
Poor Chihiro.
Okay, I'm assuming it's the iron pipe thing. The weapon had to be at the scene of the crime. For some reason, there was something with a bloodstain on it.
Chihiro's fatal injury.
How do I speed it up again?
It appears it was...
According to the Monokuma file, what kind of blunt?
I bet it was an iron pipe.
No, that's wrong.
Can we agree that the object that dealt the fatal blow was the dumbbell, found at the scene of the crime? It was covered in blood, and there was nothing else at the scene that could have caused that kind of injury.
Unless the murder didn't happen at the scene.
And the wound on the victim's head is consistent with the shape of the dumbbell. As far as I'm concerned, there's no mistake and no room for doubt on this one.
I think it's you.
You looked at her head wound?
Yay! That's so creepy!
If you don't mind, I will proceed from here. Let's move on to discussion of the culprit. Although, I believe the criminal behind this heinous act is already quite clear.
What? For real?
Chihiro's killer is the fiendish serial killer, Genocide Jack.
Or you. Genocide Jack, the fiendish serial killer. Did he really kill Chihiro? A new element has been added to non-stop. It's the second debate and we're still in the tutorial. For this debate, lines of white noise will appear to disrupt your reactions. Your truth bullets will disappear if they hit these lines, so think of them as obstacles in your debate. But there's a way to keep this white noise from getting in your way. Press the right mouse button to attach the silencer, which you can use to shoot down the white noise. However, if you shoot an actual remark with your silencer instead of the white noise, the time limit will decrease. So take careful aim when you have your silencer out. Oh, but if your action difficulty is set to gentle, white noise won't appear at all. In which case, you can forget about the silencer and just focus on the situation in front of you. Well then, good luck and have fun. I kinda wish I picked hard mode.
The culprit is Genocide Jack. I'm sure of it. Case closed, as far as I'm concerned.
But that's impossible!
Why? What makes it impossible?
Well, I mean, come on! There's just no proof for it.
No, that's wrong.
The proof is shaky, but there's some.
I might know one reason he could be involved.
What?
I found this file while I was looking around the archive in the library. I guess it's some kind of confidential file the police put together about the Genocide Jack case.
What? That's kinda weird as shit, isn't it? What was something like that doing in the library?
The why of it is probably more trouble than it's worth, so let's forget about that for now. More importantly, it outlines all the specifics of every Genocide Jack case in exceeding detail. According to the file, there appear to be two defining characteristics in every Genocide Jack case. The first is that a bloody message is found written at the scene of every murder.
Oh, that's right. Boob lust.
True.
No. It's actually bloodlust.
But more important is the other characteristic, and it's something that has never been made public.
Never made public? What the hell is it?
Why don't you tell them, Makoto?
The other characteristic of every Genocide Jack case which the world at large doesn't know. He crucifies them with scissors. I'm not mistaken as to the positioning of the body. Oh, I like how the little message just tells me exactly which one it is.
I got it! Apparently, in every Genocide Jack case, the killer suspends the body in a certain way. Other than the killer, the only people who know about this are the higher-ups in the police department.
However, Chihiro was most definitely suspended in the same way.
Not the same way. Those people were suspended with scissors, like crucified.
So, how did the culprit know about this when only high-level police officials were aware of it?
It's in a file that just sitting in the library for anyone to access.
There's only one logical answer I can think of. It's because the culprit in this case is the real Genocide Jack.
No fucking way!
You're saying Genocide Jack is one of us?
Yes, in fact, it's Toko.
Okay, that's blunt.
What?
Genocide Jack's true identity is Toko Fukawa.
You lie!
Why does that make Ifumi upset?
What? Hey, okay, wait, hold on a sec. Toko has, like, bloodophobia or whatever, remember? What kind of serial killer is afraid of blood?
Is Toko Genocide Jack? The answer is yes and no.
The BPD, split personality defense.
Another riddle? Man, why is this gotta be so complicated?
It's a riddle for sure, but I feel like I understand it. What it means for Genocide Jack to be Toko, but also to not be Toko, the answer is that she's not just one person, but multiple people, right? That was also outlined in this file. Ah, fuck. Alright, I'll do this. Fuck, how does this work again? I don't know. S. No. Or... Okay, so it is S. C. So...
Now I understand.
I don't understand. I understand less now.
Is it because Genocide Jack has a split personality?
Apparently that's the same thing as being a schizo.
Huh?
I think I read that somewhere in the file too. They thought that the suspect might have, what did they call it? Dissociative identity disorder.
Oh, okay. But still, to go and say that about Miss Fukawa is...
Perfectly acceptable. Toko's strange behavior after seeing the body is proof enough that she has a split personality.
The only thing that shows Toko could have a split personality has to do with her behavior. Her fainting could be seen as like a switch, but her behavior changed. That's like actually a split personality, so I'll go with that one.
You're talking about how she started acting totally different than usual, right?
That's right. Think back. She fainted when she saw Chihiro's corpse, and then, when she woke up...
I'm fine. I'm fine. Yeah. Whoa, is that a dead body? Hey, are you dead? Yeah. She must have hit her head real hard when she fainted. The world has a friend at that. A top ending and a bottom. A sea is truth and a web of lies. This is quite concerning. I mean, she sounds completely different.
She was acting funny, that's for sure. That melancholy tone of hers completely disappeared.
Don't go assigning adjectives to my tone without permission.
Not to mention, once she regained consciousness and saw Chihiro's body again, she was utterly calm. In other words, within her is one personality that can handle blood, and one that obviously can.
So when Toko trapped herself in her room, it's because she was scared of Genocide Jack?
I won't let Genocide Jack have control. Oh, drive out the killer. Drive out the murderous fiend.
The reason she locked herself in her room wasn't to keep other people from getting in. It was to keep her other personality from getting out.
What?
Toko was afraid. Afraid of the murderous fiend inside of her. Of killing even more people.
How? Yeah. How can you know all this?
I do believe you misunderstood her. What she's trying to say isn't, how can you know all this? No. What she wants to know is, how could you tell them?
Huh?
Last night, just before Monokuma gave his motive speech, Toko and I had a strange conversation. She told me a most interesting story. She said a murderous fiend lived within her, and she was afraid it could appear and attack at any time.
Could he just be making that up? Like, we do know there was some secret between them. For a hot minute, he tried to keep it, like, try to deny there was a secret, and now he's just saying it openly.
And that trepidation is what's caused her to have such a bleak attitude. Isn't that right, Toko?
This is all a lie. Right, Toko?
You said you wouldn't tell anyone.
Well, I guess it was the truth.
What?
You promised. I can't believe you lied.
You have only yourself to blame. You came to me with your tragic little story. I didn't ask you to. This is the real world, not some romantic fantasy fairy tale.
Is it really going to be that easy?
Besides, you broke your promise first. You said that as long as you were here, no matter what, you wouldn't let Genocide Jack kill anyone. But in spite of that promise,
I still don't think it's her, just because the trial's only gone on for 16 minutes. I'm sorry. I couldn't keep our promise. But don't worry. Never again. I won't let Genocide Jack ever have control again.
You said if I kept my promise, you would go out with me. That's the only reason I promised.
how many times do I have to tell you? I never said that. But you weren't able to do it. You just couldn't resist that rush you got from killing, could you?
I tried. I swear I tried to control it,
But your efforts were useless. What a disappointment.
I hate you.
Well, the opening act is nearly finished. All that's left is to hear from the person in question directly.
The person? You don't mean...
Toko's body suddenly lunged backwards. A huge thud echoed across the courtroom, but in the next second...
Well, hello there! Is it me you were hoping to see?
What the heck?
So you figured it out, huh? Well, whatever. What are you gonna do? I'm the ultimate murderous fiend, Genocide Jack! Or better yet, let's go with Genocide Jill!
What the fuck is this?
Toko, what happened to you?
Not Toko, that's a loser name, and what happened is a textbook split personality! So what if one of them happens to be a serial killer? You should turn a blind eye to one's faults.
I still don't believe it. Sorry.
She's so intense.
Like they say, sound in murderous mind, sound in murderous body!
This one is so different from the one we've come to know.
Yes, well, the world is composed of a front and a back, you know. Just like how every inning has a top and a bottom, or how in the depths of every truth lives a little lie. Behind every dark and gloomy soul lives another that shines as bright as the sun!
Just like hurting my ears. I need to turn down the game a little. This is the murderous fiend, Genocide Jack? This is beyond insane.
Miss Jack, Jill, can I ask you a question?
What's up?
Some of us think you might be the mastermind behind our entire situation. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll tell you, I am the mastermind of all masterminds!
That still doesn't make any sense.
Just kidding!
Okay, well fuck you.
Then it's not true?
Of course it's not true! How dare you try to link me to that creepazoid! And And another thing, the police and government and society in the outside world are totally powerless. I mean, they just let this idiotic, bloodthirsty maniac go buck wild all over town.
Sure, I'm a bloodthirsty maniac, but life is pain, right? To live is to hurt other people.
How is she speaking with the tongue out like that?
It's a necessary evil if you want to survive. The act of living itself causes pain for everyone. Just kidding again!
This should be enough to convince you. This murderous fiend is responsible for Chihiro's death.
Okay, it was Byakuya, and he's working with Toko. Whatever's going on right now is that. That's my theory.
There's clearly a motive, so there should be no doubt.
A motive?
Remember what Monokuma told us? If someone didn't murder and graduate within 24 hours, an embarrassing memory or secret would be revealed. Well, let's assume that Toko's secret was about Genocide Jack. If a secret like that came to light, Toko's life would have undoubtedly been forever ruined. So she had a very clear motive to never have that side of herself exposed.
I feel like the whole split personality thing itself would be the secret, not being the serial killer.
Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. But sorry, as much as I hate to admit it, I'm not the culprit.
Huh?
But I cannot imagine anyone other than you could murder someone in such a bizarre fashion.
Maybe so, but nevertheless, it's the truth.
Do you really expect any of us to believe you?
Yeah. I could never believe a word you say, you monster.
Maybe. Maybe she's totally right about that, but something's still bothering me. What she said. I need to get some more details about all of this.
Sorry, but I didn't kill anyone.
You say that, but do you really expect any of us to believe it?
Perhaps if you had an alibi, that would change things.
Oh, an alibi, huh? Now we're talking.
When you compare your past murders to this incident, the modus operandi matches completely. What more proof do we
Not
need?
really.
Give it up. You killed her.
Was that really the only thing I could click on that entire thing? Okay, I have to just focus on remembering Chihiro's body. That must have the answer. It should prove that what he said isn't quite right.
Sorry, but I didn't kill anyone.
You say that, but do you really expect any of us to believe it?
Perhaps if you had an alibi.
Oh, an alibi, huh?
When you compare your past murders, the modus operandi matches completely.
No, that's wrong. Are the methods of murder really exactly the same? I'm not so sure about that. I think there's a slight difference between the Genocide Jack cases and this one.
Huh? How's it any different?
Uh-oh, you don't know? Well then, human garbage, let me tell you! I murder with passion and conviction. I consider myself a professional, and I have a very particular way of doing things. Imagine you go to a fancy Italian restaurant. They're very picky about the noodles, the sauce, everything. But what happened to Chihiro? It'd be like if that same Italian restaurant started using ragu or Chef Boyardee. This is no creation of mine.
Let me rephrase that, in a way that maybe makes more sense. There are two clear differences between the Genocide Jack cases and this one.
There's one clear difference between the murders. In the photos from the other Genocide Jack cases, look at the neck and stomach. You'll see a clear difference. Well, the bloody mess is just fine, so the injuries, they were all stabbed to death. Chihiro was just bludgeoned.
I got it! For one, the cause of death is different. In the Genocide Jack murders, all the victims were killed the same way. According to the case file, they were all apparently killed with a pair of scissors. But Chihiro died from a blow to the head, right?
Ah, yes. That is remarkably different from the other murders.
Wouldn't it be strange for someone who kills the same way without fail to suddenly change their method? And there's more. One more conflicting detail.
That's right! In my recipe of murder, if the bloody message is the tortellini, then the arrangement of the body would be the pesto sauce!
Could you please stop comparing killing people to cooking?
So, are you saying the other difference has to do with how the body was arranged?
That's right. The second difference is related to how she was suspended. In the photos of the other Genocide Jack cases, all the other victims were stabbed through their hands. Here you'll see a clear difference. What was used as a suspender? The extension cord.
Do you remember what the killer used to suspend her? They used some kind of rope to hang her up by her
How do I
wrists.
still not get it?
What is your point?
Well, in all the previous Genocide Jack cases, something else was used to suspend them. Specifically, pairs of razor-sharp scissors.
And guess what? I used my own specially designed scissors for the murders and the arrangement! Like I said, I'm a professional, so naturally I'm very picky about the tools I use. And you know what else? Big Mac said there's two differences, but he's wrong.
Big Mac? Are you referring to me?
Listen up, Big Mac. There's actually one more difference.
Huh?
My word, you really didn't notice? Take a look at who the victims were in each Genocide Jack case.
Men.
There's a pattern there, just waiting to be discovered.
A pattern?
Figure that out, and it'll be plain as death why I couldn't have possibly killed that little lolly girl.
Let's see. There was a pattern surrounding the Genocide Jack victims, and Chihiro didn't fit it. If you look at the names of every victim, what you'll notice is... I guess they are all men. I don't know how I didn't piece that one together earlier. I think I figured it out. I know why she couldn't kill Chihiro.
I got it! Is it because Chihiro was a girl?
Bingo! Bullseye! Right on the money!
What are you talking about?
In all the Genocide Jack cases, all the victims had something in common.
Yet men. I'm assuming these are male names. I don't know Japanese.
They were all guys?
That's right! The people I kill with such passion and conviction are all adorable little men! I can't believe I said it! I'm so embarrassed!
The hell is wrong with you?
I can't help it! I'm just a full-throttle boy-on-boy fangirl, and the mopey side of me just hates it. But now I'm on the fast track to becoming a full-fledged fan madam!
So, since Chihiro was a girl and not an adorable little man, you wouldn't kill her?
Would an Italian chef suddenly start making ramen just because they're both noodles? Don't be stupid. I have too much passion and conviction to cross that line. That's the absolute reality of the one and only.
We get it. You've clearly explained your hobby and your philosophy. But that's not all there is to it. It's a different matter entirely, when you're forced to kill in order to survive.
Quiet, lowly cur!
Lowly? Cur?
I would never kill for a reason as petty as mere survival. And if by some fluke I did kill to survive, why would I bother with the message and arrangement? It'd make me the obvious suspect!
That does make some amount of sense.
Plus, whatever reason I have for killing, I would never leave out my prized scissors.
Do you have them?
Who would go out of their way to use a big, stupid, heavy dumbbell?
Maybe you used the dumbbell because you couldn't find any scissors in the school?
Any scissors? I don't just use any scissors. I only use my own set of high-class envy of the entire world scissors!
Okay, whatever. There still aren't any in the school.
Are you sure about that?
She's fully equipped!
That's right! So I can kill anywhere, anytime! Why would I resort to dumbbells or rope when I have my trusty scissors by my side? Go ahead, tell me I'm wrong! You can't, can you? Gutter dogs, all of you! Not to mention, I have no clue how to tie a good knot. So rope's totally out of the question anyway!
I have no idea what's going on anymore! Could such a heinous villain really be innocent?
But the body really was suspended, right? And nobody but the police knew about that.
Could this all be like some trick to try and frame Byakuya? Because Byakuya knows. Maybe she's trying to turn it around on him.
Yeah. That's why we figured it had to be the real deal and not some copycat killer or whatever.
Actually, hold on. There is one person. One person who could have copied the genocide Jack cases.
Here's my answer. Byakuya, it's possible you could have found out, isn't it? You'd have no problem gaining access to classified government documents or internal police records. Plus, you'd already looked through the Genocide Jack file before this all happened, hadn't you?
Are you saying Mr. Togami did it?
It would make sense. Like, he hears that Toko is Genocide Jack, so he frames Toko.
Then, the reason he pushed the theory of Genocide Jack being the killer so hard was because he wanted to pin the crime on her.
So, he rearranged the scene to disguise it and make it look like I put my stamp on it. The adorable glasses man was behind it all. Oh, I'm on fire!
Well, Byakuya, what's your response?
I see. So now the suspicion falls on me. Then I must ask, when would you say I began acting suspicious? Surely you must have an answer.
Looking back and thinking about it now, the way you were acting right before we discovered the body was a little strange.
And the locker rooms. Suspicious. Very suspicious indeed. Wouldn't you agree? Huh? Suspicious. It seems nobody searched locker rooms. Let's start with the girls' locker room.
You wanted to go to the girls' locker room right away, right? But since you're a guy...
I should have naturally thought of the boys' locker room first. Is that what you want to say? The victim was Chihiro, a girl. Hence why I said we should check the girls' locker room.
We didn't know that.
Nothing strange about that, I'd say.
We didn't know it was Chihiro until we were staring at her corpse.
On the contrary, there's something very strange.
Okay then, what's so strange about it? Go ahead, share with the rest of the class.
There was a clear contradiction with Byakuya just said. You need to make it clear to everyone. Oh my god. Next we're going to add something called a truth flashback. You aim at a weak spot and hold down the left mouse button. Then you'll memorize that weak spot. This memorized phrase can only be shot once as a single truth bullet. Oh, so I have to like scavenge and find my own bullets? That's actually cool. If you shoot or change the truth bullet, it will disappear from your truth cylinder. However, you can use this flashback feature as many times as you want. If you don't seem to have the answer to a lie or contradiction in your loaded truth bullets, it might be wise to memorize a different weak spot and use that to make a case. When's the best time to flashback? Well, you'll just have to use your keen wits, won't you? In this case though, I will say that if you don't use a flashback, you won't be refuting anything. Then good luck and have fun. Why can't I just say, how did you know it was a girl?
So, you said Byakuya was acting kinda weird before we found the body. But he was acting weird... how?
If you're presented with the opportunity to check out the girls' locker room,
You absolutely take it! That's a natural reaction for any guy!
The victim was Chihiro, who was a girl. So of course I would suggest we check the girls' locker room first. There was no time for pointless distractions. What's so strange about that?
I wish you'd taken me with you.
Hearing Byakuyu's comment about Chihiro being a girl, there's a clear contradiction there. Well, why don't I just say it? Why do I need evidence to say, hey, how did you know? It doesn't make sense how we could have known before we even found it. Okay, now I can... Why don't I say that out loud? Well, okay, I need to make that contradiction clear.
So, you said Byakuya was acting kinda weird before we found the body. But he was acting weird.
If you're presented with the opportunity to...
That's a natural...
The victim was Chihiro, so of course I would suggest we check the girls' locker room first. There was no time for pointless distractions. What's so strange about that?
How did I do that?
wish you'd taken me with you.
Hearing Byakuyu's comment about shooting a girl.
So, you said Byakuya was acting kinda weird before we found the body.
Is that... No. Come on, Kodo, don't scare me like that. Makes me think something weird's going on. How do I... Thor...
Shoot!
I need to think about it one more time. There must be a contradiction there somewhere.
So, you said Byakuya was acting kinda weird before we
I'd take
found
that and
But he
shoot
was
it.
acting weird.
If you're presented with the opportunity...
That's a natural...
The victim was Chihiro.
No, that's wrong! I'll tell you what's so strange about that. Because up until we actually discovered the body, we couldn't have known who the victim was. So your claim that you went to the girls' locker room first because Chihiro was the victim doesn't hold up.
I see. That's a good answer, I must admit. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. But your reasoning is still too weak.
Huh?
I got your ass, what do you mean?
What's wrong? Is that it? Surely you've got more than that. Go ahead. Show us.
How is that not enough on its own? The burden of proof is on you. Tell us how you knew. What's with Bikuyu's attitude? It's like he doesn't even care. I got him cornered, but he's acting like it has nothing to do with them.
What's the matter? You're not finished already, are you? There must be more to it.
There is. I think.
There is more to it. Think about it. We just talked about the differences between this case and past Genocide Jack incidents. The proof you're looking for is hidden in there.
Why don't you say it?
Oh? Proof that I'm the culprit, you mean?
Please. The difference is between this case and the other Genocide Jack murders. The evidence that proves Byakuya is responsible is hidden in there? What could it be? I really don't get what this lamp has to do with
The
anything.
difference between the cases? You want me to explain it again? When I want to kill, I use my very own special scissors. And I use those same scissors to arrange the body.
But Chihiro was suspended with... It was some kind of rope. Was it not?
That's right! It absolutely was!
Then there must be something very fishy indeed about that rope.
Hey, Byakuya, where'd you get it from, huh?
I'd never seen that rope before in my life.
No, that's wrong! Actually, I'm pretty sure you have seen it before. Because, you see, that rope, or should I say, that extension cord?
Finally, oh my god.
What? An extension cord?
Byakuya, you've used the extension cord in the library more than once, haven't you? And the same extension cord that was in the library all this time went missing after the murder. And there's no way someone who uses that extension cord as much as you do wouldn't discover that fact.
And Byakuya must be the one who took the extension cord. I can't imagine any other possibility.
That's really what you think? Then your conclusion is something like this? I killed Chihiro in the girls' locker room, then hung her up and wrote that bloody message. I intentionally made it look like Genocide Jack was behind it. Is that about right?
He says it like it doesn't make complete sense. He's doing it again. He's totally calm, totally unconcerned. As if he's not even involved. Wait, not even involved?
What's wrong? I asked you if you think that's what happened.
Hell yes, that's what happened. So that's it, right? Byakuya's the killer.
I don't disagree with not disagreeing.
He kept calling this a game, right? So he'd be totally willing to do something like this to win.
Sorry, but could we hold on just a second? I think we need to talk about this a little more.
Do we really need to? We've already decided who did it.
I know, but still, there's something that's still bothering me.
Is that right? And what, pray tell, is still bothering you? I killed her in the girls' locker room, then disguised my crime. Specifically, I dressed it up to make it look like it was the work of a homicidal psychopath. What about all that bothers you?
Wait, what was that just now? Something's not right. Chihiro's body was definitely found in the girls' locker room. What does that mean? Can I really just accept that Byakuya is the truth? No, I don't think so. There's definitely something off about what he said. It happened in the boys' room.
I got it! You say you killed Chihiro in the girls' locker room, right? But are you sure about that? Isn't it possible that the murder took place somewhere else?
How disappointing. What kind of question is that? Even in the world of disappointments, this is a true letdown. She was found dead in the girls' locker room. There is absolutely no question about that. How could the scene of the crime have been anywhere else?
Well, I think it's entirely possible that she was killed somewhere else, then carried there later, along with the rest of the murder scene.
The rest of the murder scene? That was awfully specific. Please tell me you have a reason for saying all of that.
I believe I do.
Hey, Byakuya, did I just take you off guard? When the story suddenly moved to the crime scene, Byakuya, who'd been so confident up until now, maybe Byakuya never even realized the actual scene of the crime could have been somewhere else.
Hey, don't just move on without permission! What do you mean she was killed somewhere else?
Come on, Makoto. If there's any chance the murder took place somewhere else, let's see the proof.
Evidence that shows the murder took place somewhere else. That's Stalker's coffee and the poster, right? There was something that was switched between the boys and the girls' locker room. I think that this is for later. The posters are probably more solid evidence for now.
I got it! The proof that she was killed somewhere else is the poster that's hanging in each locker room.
Your proof is some posters?
The poster in the girls' locker room was a picture of a big-boobed supermodel. But don't you think that's kind of strange? Why would the girls' locker room have a poster like that?
I bet those massive jugs of hers were totally fake!
Meanwhile, the boys' locker room had a poster of the super popular boy band Tornado. Again, that doesn't really seem to belong in a boys' locker room.
So you're saying that maybe the posters were switched?
And there's one other thing I noticed about the locker rooms. You know what I'm talking about, right, Sakura?
You're referring to my protein coffee, aren't you?
Protein coffee?
While I was in the girls' locker room earlier, I spilled some protein coffee on the carpet. But I noticed that after the murder, the stain had been totally scrubbed away.
No, it's not that the stain was scrubbed away. It was moved. I like how it's just spelling it out for me.
I got it! The stain on the girls' locker room carpet wasn't scrubbed away. In fact, I found it on the boys' locker room carpet.
That's definitely the stain from my protein coffee.
Then, does that mean that the carpets were switched too? But why would anyone do that?
To move the murder scene from one locker room to the other. It's certainly plausible, don't you think?
What?
In other words, in order to completely swap the scene of the crime, the blood-stained poster and carpet were moved along with the dead body. By doing this, the killer was able to change the entire room where the murder took place.
I can certainly follow your reasoning, but why would the culprit bother doing that?
Huh?
Why would they go to all that trouble of switching the scene of the crime? Actually, an even bigger question. If the murder did take place in the boys' locker room, then how did Chihiro get in the boys' locker room in the first place?
The tablet, or e-handbook. We know this.
To get into the locker rooms, you have to swipe your e-handbook across the card reader device. But Chihiro's handbook should have only allowed her access to the girls' locker room. She had no way to get into the boys' locker room to begin with.
No, she did have a way, and I can tell you what it was.
I highly doubt that.
Shut up! I'm telling you, I know how she could have done it.
Is he right? Could Chihiro really have gotten into the boys' locker room somehow? We know it's the tablet, or I keep calling it a tablet, e-handbook. We pieced it together before it even hinted it. And yep, there it is.
Is it really possible? Could Chihiro really have gotten into the boys' locker room somehow?
Ah! I've got it! She must have hacked her e-handbook! She was the ultimate programmer, after all.
I wouldn't.
I'm sure that would have been no problem for her.
No, I don't think that's it. She used the thing that was in the main hall.
Huh? What thing?
I'm talking about Leon's handbook, of course. If she had that,
Why'd I
she
do
could
that?
get into the boys' locker room no problem.
Theoretically, if Chihiro was able to use Leon's handbook, she could get into the boys' locker room. But when we found Leon's handbook in the main hall, there was no doubt that it was. In which case, can we really say that she used it?
Is it really possible? Could Chihiro really have gotten into the boys' locker room somehow?
Ah! I've got it! She must have hacked her e-handbook. She was the ultimate programmer, after all. I'm sure that would have been no problem for her.
Her
No, I don't
e-handbook?
think that's it.
Is that the thing?
She used the thing that was in the main hall.
Huh? What thing?
I'm talking about Leon's handbook,
I need to.
of course.
No, I tried to waste the
If she
bullet.
had that,
No,
she
I
could get
need-
into the boys' locker room no problem.
I think that we need to mention the broken handbook.
Is it really possible? Could Chihiro really have got...
Ah! She must have hacked her e-handbook. She was the ultimate. I'm sure that would have been no...
No, I don't. She used the thing.
Huh? What thing?
I'm talking about Leon's handbook, of course.
No, that's wrong. No, I don't think Chihiro used Leon's handbook.
Why not?
I still think he did.
Because
She
Leon's
did.
handbook was broken.
That's Chihiro's.
Oh. Well, then, yeah, I guess that'd be pretty impossible, huh?
I am struck silent by how quickly you gave up.
Plus, isn't there a regulation against using someone else's handbook?
Actually, the rule states that loaning your handbook is prohibited. It says nothing about borrowing one. In other words, you could borrow a dead person's handbook all you want, and you'd be safe.
Yup. Hit the nail square on the noggin.
Of course, if it were broken, that wouldn't make any sense anyway.
So then, she must have hacked hers, like I said. She used her ultimate programmer skills and...
Psst! You can't fix an e-handbook. The instant you open one up, a security buzzer starts blaring.
So, if she didn't use Leon's handbook, and she didn't modify her own handbook...
Maybe Mr. Naegi's initial assumption is just...
Thank you,
wrong?
Hikumi.
It seems like there's no way she could have got into the boys' locker room. So I guess so.
Okay then, I vote for Byakuya.
Is that it then? Chihiro was killed in the girls' locker room, and Byakuya's the one who did it. Really? Still, I don't know what else I can do.
Hold on a second. I agree with you, though. I think you're on the right track.
What the? You finally decide to open your mouth and that's what you've got to say? There's no way she could get in the boys' locker room, right? So...
Why are you so sure she couldn't get in? There's still one other way she could have gained access.
What?
What are you talking about? What other way is there?
Well, to explain that, why don't we take a little break from the trial? I'd like you all to come see something.
Wait. Just what do you think you're doing?
Don't worry. This'll make the whole trial more exciting. I'm sure that thought must please you.
Huh? It'll make things more exciting? Well, all right then. I declare an official class trial recess.
For real?
Now then, what is it you want to show us? It better not be boring or I'll be very unhappy.
Oh, I have no doubt it'll meet your lofty expectations. So, shall we go?
So before I even knew what was happening, the class trial had been put on hold. We headed off with Kyoko in lead. And where she took us was...
The girls' locker room?
We've already searched this place top to bottom. What are you trying to pull, Missy?
I'd like you to examine the victim's body one more time.
You want to check it again? I'm assuming it's going to be she doesn't have her handbook.
Be sure to examine the entire body very carefully. Take your time.
Examine her carefully? Like using our hands? No way!
It's probably best if I don't run my hands all over a girl's dead body.
It's not that I'm creeped out or anything, it's just... based on religious grounds, you know?
Very well. I'll do it.
But you're a girl. You shouldn't have to touch a dead body. Just let one of the boys do it.
No, it's okay. I think Chihiro would rather have a girl examine her. So just leave this to me.
Sakura.
What is this? Some kind of secret girl-on-girl action? Is that what you two are about?
That's not it at all. Stop screwing around.
Okay, here I go. I'm sorry, Chihiro. Please excuse the intrusion.
Putting her hands together in a brief prayer, Sakura then began to quietly examine her body.
Be sure to check her entire body, and I believe we will solve this particular mystery.
Her entire body? I know you say that, but... What? This is... What is this...
What is it?
There's no handbook.
Not possible. It's not possible.
Did she just like gain some like Super Saiyan aura for a second? This is a cool sprite though, I like that. Sakura's eyes were staring wildly at Chihiro's lifeless form. Her massive frame trembled.
This girl is
what?
Is a boy!
Doesn't it say it like a person's sex on this? I guess not. Oh my god, she's the generic femboy stereotype. Oh my god, I never saw that coming.
Ah, I see. So she was actually a he. Interesting. Thank you for confirming this fact.
That's actually really good. I did not expect that. What a twist.
What?
What a twist.
You're joking, right?
I wouldn't joke about this.
Then it's really true?
Chihiro was a guy?
Oh, what? You guys didn't know? Heck, I knew that right off the bat.
Was that her secret?
Chihiro Fujisaki was totally a guy.
He was a cross-dresser? Oh no, I'm really on fire! I wish I had killed him!
So that's what Kyoko wanted to show everyone, huh?
Oh, Jackson skipped from saying interesting in a long voice.
Yes, that certainly does make things much more exciting. Now let's ride this wave of excitement back to the courtroom and get back to the trial. Ahem. I do apologize for keeping you waiting. Now then, let's resume the class trial.
What a
We've all
twist.
just learned of the shocking revelation that Chihiro was actually a boy. Let's pick up from there.
Yes, well, I don't know his reason for hiding it, but the fact is, Chihiro was not a girl, but a boy.
To think that Chihiro was actually a guy? That thought never even crossed my mind.
And because the victim was male, he would have had no problem gaining access to the boys' locker room.
Assuming his handbook did, in fact, list his gender as male, then yes, that would be true.
Of course his handbook said he was a boy. He dressed like a girl, but he was a boy through and through.
So then, there should be no issue with Makoto's initial assertion. The victim was killed in the boys' locker room, and was then later moved to the girls' locker room. And the killer could have easily used Sayaka or Junko's handbook to get into the girls' locker room.
So Chihiro really was killed in the boys' locker room?
I still don't understand the motive for moving the body, but yes, that does seem plausible.
Well, I must admit, I did find it rather odd. I knew he felt a little off. There was a certain incongruity to his female body.
This is the most titillating situation!
So now everything has been connected. All the mysteries have finally become clear.
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, connected or clear or whatever. We still think you're the killer, remember?
Very interesting. This has become very interesting indeed.
He's off in his own little world.
What about you, Makoto? After everything we've learned, do you still think Byakuya's the killer?
Well, without a doubt, Byakuya is the one that made Chihiro's death look like Genocide Jack did it. But I think he might not actually be the killer after all.
What? But aren't you the one who accused him in the first place?
He just seems to be too easygoing about all this. Like he's enjoying us solving the mystery. The way he's acting, it makes it seem like it doesn't have anything to do with him.
And you think that might be because it doesn't have anything to do with him?
Plus, the evidence he left behind was a little too... how can I put it? Overt. He consciously chose to use the extension cord, knowing it could connect him to the murder.
Not really.
At least, that's how I see it. And Byakuya, when you found out the murder took place in the boys' locker room, it seemed to rattle you. And then again when you found out Chihiro was actually a guy. If you really were the killer, that stuff wouldn't have had any effect on you.
So that's your thinking, huh? Well, it bothers me that you don't have more concrete reasons, but it's fine. I guess I'll mark it as correct for the time being.
Mark it as correct?
He's right. I am not the culprit. I just happened to come across the corpse in the girls' locker room and decided to alter it.
I don't get that at all.
Are you fucking with us right now?
No, I am not effing with you right now. I'm telling you the truth.
Well, I find it very hard to believe.
Go ahead, find it very hard to believe. You're free to be executed along with the rest of us.
If you're really telling the truth, then why? Why do you do that to his body?
My reasons hardly matter right now. Uncovering the culprit is much more important, wouldn't you say? Now then, if it wasn't me, who was it?
Well, I don't think I can say for sure without talking about it a little more.
We're seriously gonna keep going? We're all good, aren't we? I thought it was clear Byakuya did it.
No, I'm with Makoto. If there's any doubt whatsoever, we need to explore every possibility. Because if we're wrong, we all die here.
That's true. Very well then. I'm with you too.
Damn straight. Count me in.
Do you not have a mind of your own?
Of course I do. What am I, an ant or something?
Anyway, let's discuss this all as a group one more time. We still have time to make our decision.
That's very true.
Our lives are all on the line.
Excellent. Then shall we resume our game of hide and seek?
But if Byakuya didn't do it, then who's the real killer? Who murdered Chihiro? Is he going to explain why, like, he did that? I'm so confused. There's one thing we can be sure that we know about the killer. The killer was able to gain access to the real murder scene, which means... well, well, for the killer to be a girl, that means they would have access to the girls' room. Which they'd have access to the girls' room with Saika and Junko's tablets anyway. This doesn't have anything to do with it. I still don't think that actually, maybe the broken one was Leon's. Killer's guy.
I got it!
Since the scene of the crimes in the boys' locker room, you would need a boys' handbook to get in. Since Leon's handbook is apparently broken, the killer would have had to use their own. In other words, it had to have been a guy. But that's still not enough. I need to find some more clues.
Isn't there a single clue that might lead us to who did it?
Well, clues are one thing, but did nobody get a look at the killer?
I'm sure if
What?
someone saw the killer, they would have said something by now.
Perhaps someone saw the victim at some point. Even that might be enough for now.
Yeah. All we need right now is any kind of new info.
It's over. It's all over. You want to know who saw the victim? The killer! And only the killer! And it's not like they're just gonna turn themselves in. Game over, man! Game over!
Yay! No! Not game over!
No, as a matter of fact, there is an eyewitness account. She has more information about that.
Isn't there a single clue that might lead us to who... Well, did nobody get...
I'm sure if someone saw the...
Perhaps someone saw the victim. Yeah. All we need right now is any kind of new info.
It's
didn't mean to
over.
shoot that. I
It's
just lost a
all
minute.
over. You want to know who saw the victim? The killer! And only the killer.
No, that's wrong! I believe someone else did see the victim before he was murdered. What do you think, Celeste?
Now that you mention it, yes, I did see him.
Huh? Really?
Oh, but I suppose only Makoto knows about this. The rest of you had no idea, did you? That is why you're all making such ugly noises.
Whatever! Just hurry up and tell us!
It was last night, right before nighttime. I saw Chihiro in the dormitory warehouse. I saw him stuffing a track jacket into a duffel bag. And then, I assume, he headed off to exercise.
A track jacket and a duffel bag? But we didn't find anything like that at the murder scene.
It seems likely that the culprit destroyed them to get rid of any evidence.
And that is when he said something that struck me as rather odd.
Well, better get going. I'm kind of in a hurry.
Chihiro told me he was in a hurry. But why would he be in a hurry? Only if someone were waiting for him, I should think.
So, Mr. Fujisaki was on his way to meet with someone, and then they were going to work out together?
But Hina and I had invited him to exercise with us plenty of times, and he always declined.
Did Chihiro not think they would be allowed into the girls' room? Maybe? And they just didn't want to tell anybody, oh yeah, by the way, I'm a guy.
Probably because he was afraid you'd find out the secret he was hiding, right?
Which means that conversely, he must have trusted whoever he was meeting with very much.
No, not Mondo.
Enough so that he was willing to risk his secret being revealed.
Ooh, what a marvelous friendship! The point is, whoever he met up with is the culprit, right? So we just gotta figure out who it was.
But knowing what we know, I can't even guess.
No, you already have what you need to make a connection.
Uh-huh?
You know who the killer is.
No, I don't. Unless I was actually right about being Mondo.
Seriously?
Who is it? Who's the killer?
Think back to the track jacket and duffel bag the killer disposed of. Focus on the details of these items, and it should become obvious who was waiting for him.
Are you sure about that? You really think we can figure out who did it based on 2 pieces of evidence that we don't have?
What? You want to track down some fingerprints or something?
Even if we had the equipment for that, we wouldn't know how to use it.
As was noted, the evidence is already gone. There's nothing to get fingerprints from.
Maybe, but we can make certain inferences if we just take the time to talk it out.
Easy for you to say. But fine. Celeste, did you notice anything special about the bag or jacket?
The bag was just a normal duffel bag from the warehouse. All the bags in there are the same, so I can't imagine what would make that one special.
Well, if I remember right, there was a decent variety of tracksuits to choose from. Do you think there might be some connection between the culprit and Chihiro's jacket?
Perhaps. Let's explore that and talk a bit more about the jacket he took.
Does Chihiro's track jacket really hold some clue about the killer? Somehow, it's really hard to believe. Let's account again. I probably
First
need
of all,
to
we know where Chihiro was headed.
extract
He
the
was
statement.
on his way to go exercise. So next we have to ask, why did he choose the specific tracksuit that he did?
What do you mean, the specific tracksuit?
I got it! He picked that tracksuit because it matched the one the culprit was wearing.
So, what you're saying is, the killer was wearing the same blue tracksuit as him? My tracksuit is black.
I don't even have a tracksuit.
Wait, how do you know it was blue?
Because exercising sucks.
Wait, did he say it was
I have
blue?
a white tracksuit personally. I got it from the warehouse, if you must know.
Did any of that really help us get any closer to figuring out who the culprit is?
No way. Not a chance.
You heard him, right? What he just said without even realizing it?
Was it that he said Chihiro's is blue? He's right. What he said just now is really odd. How did he know something like that?
First of all, we know where Chihiro was headed. He was on his way to go exercise. So next we have to ask, why did he choose the specific tracksuit that he did?
What do you mean, the specific tracksuit?
I got it! He picked that tracksuit because it matched the one the culprit was wearing.
So, what you're saying is, the killer was wearing the same blue tracksuit as him?
Wait, no, it's with the Dora or something, isn't it? Or not.
Hold on a second, Mondo. What did you just say?
Huh? What'd I say?
When Celeste testified a few minutes ago, she said...
I saw him stuffing a track jacket into a duffel bag. And then, I assumed he headed off to exercise.
She never said anything about the jacket's color. So why did you say Chihiro's blue tracksuit?
What are you... You just...
Hey, Celeste, what color was Chihiro's tracksuit?
As a matter of fact, it was blue.
Why does she sound confused?
And before we began the trial, did you tell anyone that?
The only one I told about any of this was you.
Then, Mondo, how did you know what color Chihiro's tracksuit was?
Because I just...
I'm sure he saw the clothes at some point in the investigation.
No, that can't be it. The bag and clothes were surely disposed of by the time we began our investigation.
Then the only reason he could have known what color the tracksuit was is if he saw Cherry with it before he died! That's the only possibility! Cherry? Are you talking about Chihiro? So, how about it? Did you see the tracksuit or didn't you?
Just by chance. I just happened to see it last night. He walked past me, and he was carrying the tracksuit in his hands.
And he never thought to mention that.
No,
Oh,
that can't be it
no.
either. According to Celeste's testimony,
She stuffed the jacket into her bag in a hurry. It was almost like she was trying to hide it. And just like that, she was gone.
when Celeste noticed it, Chihiro made a point of making sure the jacket was completely in the bag. If you just ran into him briefly, you couldn't possibly have seen what color the tracksuit was.
Yeah.
It would appear you've dug your own grave.
Perhaps. But you handed him the shovel, didn't you? That's why you said what you did. Focus on the tracksuit and it'll be obvious who he met with? What a bunch of nonsense.
Ah, now I understand. It was all one big bluff, wasn't it? Your true intention was to draw a slip of the tongue from the culprit. That's why you said you knew who did it, to put them on edge.
That's right. However, Mondo was my target all along. I had my suspicions about him from the very beginning.
Is that really how they're going to do the reveal? Like, after this whole trial, it's just the only evidence we have is, oh, he slipped up and said blue. That's kind of like anticlimactic, especially after like how far the trial went.
But why? What made you so suspicious?
That's a good question.
What? The way he was acting, I guess.
There was a certain turning point that tipped me off. Maybe you didn't notice it, Mondo, but you tend to refer to men and women differently. You only call guys dude. For girls, it's chick.
Seriously? That was the clue?
And after he was killed, you happened to refer to him as dude. Once I picked up on that, it occurred to me that Mondo knew something we didn't.
You noticed
notice such a tiny detail?
Are you a witch? She's a witch! You're positively frightful!
No, I'm not the frightful one. Not nearly as frightful as someone capable of murdering a friend.
Mondo, was it really you? Did you really kill Chihiro?
I didn't kill anyone! You've been all over me, judging everything I say, putting words in my mouth. What gives you the right to treat me like a goddamn criminal?
Aren't you like a biker gang leader?
Yeah! He would never do something like that! This is a false accusation!
It's true. My reasoning on that is pretty shaky.
That was fast.
Well, this does present us with a problem. It seems we are all out of leads.
My time has nearly come. That's what my little ghost friend is telling me.
What is up with Fumi's voice? Like it's changed.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. Hifumi, weren't you telling me you'd found some evidence?
Really? What kind of evidence?
Actually, you know, now that I'm thinking about it here calmly, it might not be all that relevant.
Jeez, does your confidence just get up and walk away? It's fine, man. Just tell us.
If you really insist, then... Here it is.
What do you have there?
Is that Leon's handbook?
It happens to be an e-handbook. I found it laying on the
So I
ground,
was
so
right.
I scooped it up.
Found it on the ground, right? It must belong to... It's mine. So I guess I wasn't right. Well, that could be Chihiro's, and Leon's could be in Chihiro's possession, right? Sure.
I got it! We know Chihiro's handbook was missing from the scene of the crime, right?
For a fact.
For a fact indeed. I was totally sure I'd found it.
Then it must hold some clue about the culprit, right?
Well, that's what I was hoping. But it's busted. It won't even turn on.
I imagine the culprit broke it to get rid of any evidence after the murder.
Why wouldn't they throw it in the incinerator with the rest of the stuff? Or wherever they dumped the rest of the stuff?
That's odd. I didn't think the handbooks were quite so fragile.
You're right. They're not. They're totally waterproof and shock resistant. It would take an awful lot to break one.
And yet, this one does appear to be broken, as is Leon's, sitting useless in the main hall. For all your confidence, that is a remarkably high failure rate.
Do you think there might be some kind of mystery in there somewhere?
When they get too hot? Is that it? We know it's too damaged. And it was Mondo and Taka who were in the sauna for an absurdly long period of time. Or is there some other... When Mondo was doing the sauna thing with Taka, he was still wearing his clothes. He very well could have had the handbook still on him. I don't know what would have happened the second one that would have caused it to heat up, but I think it's the heat.
How precisely did the handbooks get broken?
How did the handbook break? There's only one possible explanation. These two are basically the same. I was hitting its weak point that I mentioned earlier.
I got it! You already told us before that the handbook has one weak point, didn't you?
You remember that? Sure, maybe I let that slip, but I never told anyone what the weak point actually was.
But if the handbook is supposed to never break, and two of them broke in quick succession, then...
Then we can only assume that someone's figured out its weakness. You know what the weakness is, right, Monokuma? So, what is it?
Huh? You're asking me?
I think it's a necessary piece of information if you want this to be a fair trial.
But if I tell you, and someone else decides to copy it, that would be very not good.
Just tell us already! Why would we want to break our own handbooks?
Oh well, I have a weakness for pushy demands. But you're sure you won't follow their example? Then allow me to make a special announcement. The weak point of my cutting-edge e-handbook is... When it's exposed
I got
to
it.
high temperatures
Hell yeah.
for too long, it will suffer a meltdown and totally break!
I flippin' knew it!
You knew it?
Yeah, cause I found the handbook laying on the floor of the sauna.
Oh my god.
The temperature in the sauna can reach over 200 degrees. Strange how you don't get burnt, huh? It's because as your sweat evaporates, it creates a cooling layer of air around your skin. If the hot air of the sauna were somehow pushed directly onto your skin, you'd definitely get fried. That layer of air would get blown away. That's why you may feel a burning when you move around. So when you're in a sauna, make sure to keep nice and still.
Wow, interesting. I learned one new fact today.
That is actually pretty cool. I was gonna say that, and Taka said it for me.
That is a mere trifling speck of knowledge.
Anyway, if you found the victim's handbook in the sauna, then the killer must have been purposely trying to raise its temperature in order to break it.
Meaning the culprit somehow knew its weakness.
But how'd they find out? Monokuma said he didn't tell anyone, right?
Indeed. Quite the mystery.
What if they found out by accident?
What do you mean by accident?
What if the killer took their own handbook into the sauna, not knowing its weakness, and it broke? They'd realize it was broken, of course, and it wouldn't be hard to figure out why. And once they had Chihiro's handbook, they knew they had an easy way to dispose of it.
I won't say it's not possible, but who would have done something like that? I don't know of anyone who took their handbook into the sauna.
I might know someone who did.
Whoa! Seriously?
I think the one who may have taken their handbook into the sauna was...
Oh, that's so sad. Who might have brought their handbook into the sauna? It had to be the one who wore all their clothes into the sauna. It was... Okay, I wish it didn't just tell me.
Here's my answer! Mondo, your handbook got broken in the sauna, didn't it?
What? Why? Why do you keep accusing him?
Mondo and Taka had an endurance contest in the sauna not too long ago, remember? And for the contest, Mondo just so happened to keep his school uniform on.
Wait, since it... Would that thing Monokuma was just talking about? Of how, like, the sweat will create a little layer around your skin. Would that be better or worse if you have clothes on? Like...
But little did he realize, he'd also left his handbook in one of his uniform pockets. And when it was all over, Mondo discovered that taking your handbook into the sauna could easily destroy it.
No, wait, hold on. You've got it all wrong. He would never kill. I don't accept this. Show me the proof. The actual solid proof.
I mean, I don't want to believe it either, but I found something that proves it beyond a shadow of a doubt. 5 minutes ago, I had no clue who did it. What do you mean? Broken e-handbook, Chihiro's e-handbook, and the card reader. The Leon's
Let's
handbook is
test
still
Makoto's
somewhere.
assertion. If what he says is correct, then Mondo, You broke your own handbook.
In other words, if Mondo's handbook is actually broken, then that proves that what Makoto said is right.
Well, my goddamn handbook works just fine!
Shh.
See? Look! Makoto was wrong after all! Mondo wouldn't hurt a fly!
I'm sure Mondo's handbook broke during the Sauna show now. If I can just prove that, then that will show that the handbook Mondo has is actually the...
Let's test Makoto's assertion. If what he says is correct, then Mondo, you broke your own handbook.
In other words, if Mondo's handbook is actually broken, then that proves that what Makoto said is right.
Well, my goddamn handbook works just fine!
No, that's wrong! Mondo, the handbook you have right now, is it really yours?
The fuck is that supposed to mean?
The broken handbook that was in the main hall. Isn't that one actually yours?
What the heck are you talking about?
What I mean is, I think Mondo swapped his handbook out for one that actually works. I think he took Leon's handbook and replaced it with his own. After all, Monokuma said himself that Leon's handbook never should have broken.
That's right! The punishment it suffered wasn't nearly enough to destroy it.
So then, the broken handbook in the main hall is actually Mondo's. Which would mean that the handbook Mondo has right now is actually Leon's, yes?
But doesn't that violate the school regulation that says loaning out your handbook is prohibited?
Well, here's how I look at it. There is a rule about loaning your handbook to another student, but if they're dead, they're not a student. It's kind of a gray area, I admit. But no worries. If anything, it just makes things more interesting. As such, I decree that exchanging handbooks with a corpse is not a violation of the rules.
Well, Mondo, if I'm wrong about this, you're welcome to say so. I'm happy to admit I made a mistake, but...
Son of a bitch!
What's wrong, bro? Come on! Tell him he's wrong! You are wrong! You have to be wrong! Everything you just said is wrong! You made it all up!
Okay, then why don't we look back on this case one more time, from the beginning?
Or why don't we ask him for his handbook?
That way, everything will become clear, and we'll all see if I was right or wrong.
Initial thought. Okay, so the hero stuffs up in their bag. Celeste sees that. Celeste notices. Chihiro hides it. That's the first bit. Then something outside of the locker room. Chihiro meets up with the culprit in the boys' locker room. And while Chihiro is up to something, the culprit comes from behind and hits him in the head. Blood gets everywhere. What's this blood? I don't remember there being blood in the boys' room. Dumbbell falls, I guess. Chihiro is on the ground dead. And then the cover up. So they switch the rug. Or wouldn't this no. The Akuya was surprised to see that the room switch, so this would still be Mondo. But now, shouldn't this be... No, because Mondo would want to cover up that it was him by moving Chihiro to the girls' room to hide the fact that Mondo knew, or to hide the fact that Chihiro was a boy. And then they just leave the body there. This fucking asshole decides to do some trolling. Why would he do this? I don't get it. Like, by doing this and by framing Genocide Jack, that means everyone's gonna vote out Genocide Jack. And he dies too. What does he gain? Does he really just hate Toko that much? So then they decorate the scene. Throw the e-handbook in the sauna, and then do nothing with it, I guess. Whatever. Alright. Now let's take it from the top. So that would be that, right? There's no other place that would be used. Then outside the locker room. Swipe in. Like that. Pull out the handbook and then swipe in. I don't know why swiping in is such a big panel. I'm really shaky at these two are right, but I'll leave them there for now. This one kind of gives itself away. There's nowhere else the dumbbell would be. Then, use the hit. Blood everywhere. Blood in the poster. Chihiro's dead on the ground. They roll up the rug. This should be here. Or... I don't know. Okay, let's try to get rid of some more of our more obvious ones by taking it from the end. What is that? Is that like the door to the sauna? Oh, just in the sauna room. That makes sense. Why was he in the gym? Or the girls' locker? Wait. What the fuck was he doing in the girls' locker room? How did I never piece this one together? He's just like... Whatever. Creep. I'd be walking in with the extension cord. And then... Oh, take some blood from her, and then right. Well, this is right. I'm not sure where the dumbbell would go, like that's just strange, but... Chihiro walking in would be way over here. Right? In... Walk in... Greet the culprit. This has nothing to do with it. Okay, so after this little line right here is when we enter the girls' room. So everything before this is the cover-up. So lift up the rug to move it. Pick up the poster. We don't place it down yet. What would this be? Pull out the ID, swipe in. Well, this is the only part where we can put that. So what's going on? Unless this is the girls' room. Which... Mondo would be the one to move the poster. Yeah, you can see him like the grayed out here. That definitely is Mondo. Spots are left. It's one. Is that the only one I need to fill? It is. So he picks up the body, and now he's placing it down. So I guess it wouldn't really make that much sense that... No, I guess it doesn't really account for like the back and forth Mondo would have to do in this panel or comic. What is this handle? I really don't get it. I think these two are just worthless. Like, okay, swipe into the girls' room. I think that goes there. Just the more I look at it, the more I think you need to be swiping into the girls' room. And that he's leaving this room, carrying Chihiro, and then he places Chihiro down. So, in that time, he couldn't have moved the poster. Do we just use this twice? I don't know what else it could be. Well, hopefully that's bulletproof evidence enough.
The killer is you! First, let's take a look back to before the incident. Last night, Celeste saw Chihiro in the warehouse, correct? At the time, she was apparently stuffing something into a duffel bag. That something was a blue tracksuit. You can confirm this, right, Celeste? With bag in hand, Chihiro headed out, even though it was officially nighttime. She made her way to the locker room, specifically the boys' locker room. But how could the victim, who was apparently a girl, access the boys' locker room?
What? We already went over this.
Simple, because she was really a he. Which is why he was able to use his own e-handbook to gain entrance to the boys' locker room. Once inside, he met with someone there. And the person he met was the one who killed him. It seems likely that the killer grabbed the nearby dumbbell, approached the unsuspecting Chihiro, and attacked him. And that's where the bloodstains on the poster and carpeting in the boys' locker room came from. It was likely in the heat of the moment. The body was arranged, but the murder itself felt unplanned. Which is why the killer hurried to try and hide the act. First, pulling up the bloodstained carpet. Then, removing the bloody poster.
No, I didn't lay out my reasoning right. I need to rearrange the events of the case. Oh, the time limit is very tight. I agree. Okay, so. Well, now they need to swipe in somehow. Is this just and they left?
The killer is you! Which is why the killer hurried to try and hide the act. First, pulling up the bloodstained carpet. Then, removing the bloody poster.
Oh no, this is not how I can lose. We swipe in. Is it just we approach the girls' room, maybe? And then this really is just putting the poster back up?
The killer is you! Which is why the killer hurried to try. Then, removing the blood.
Finally, okay.
and finally carrying the corpse into the girls' locker room. A girl's handbook was necessary to get into the locker room, of course. But this alone doesn't prove that the killer was necessarily a girl. After all, Sayaka and Junko's handbooks had been placed in the main hall. Using one of those, a boy could get into the girls' locker room without much problem. And that's exactly how the killer did it. With the carpet and the poster they brought with them, they got to work. They changed the layout of the boys' and girls' locker room in what you might call a crime scene switch. That could have been the end of things, but no. Byakuya discovered the body and decided to intervene in the situation, making things even more complicated.
Why was Byakuya in the girls' room? We need to get to the bottom of this. This is like more important than the murder. What was he doing in the girls' room? Unless... What if Byakuya just wanted to go for a pump, right? And Byakuya is secretly a girl. It's gotta be it.
So, after stumbling on the crime scene, he went and grabbed the extension cord from the library, and then he got to work. He used the cord to string up Chihiro's lifeless body. Then, using the victim's own blood, he left a grisly message there at the scene of the crime. He wanted to create the illusion that Genocide Jack was responsible for the slaughter. And around the same time that Byakuya was putting together this facade, the killer, having already disposed of Chihiro's bag and other belongings, arrived at the sauna. There, they planned to destroy the last piece of evidence, Chihiro's handbook. And just as the killer expected, the steamy sauna was enough to ruin the electronic gadget. Somehow, the killer knew that the handbook couldn't stand up to the heat of the sauna. And the reason they knew that is because the sauna had already wrecked their own handbook. And that's how it all played out. Isn't that right, Mondo Arata?
Wait! No! This can't be right! Where's your evidence? Yeah! Where's your evidence?
That's like actually upsetting that Taka's like Mondo's biggest supporter, not even Mondo himself. Like, he really is a true bro.
You need evidence! You need proof! Without any proof, you can't pin any of this on him!
Evidence that Mondo's the killer, that already revealed itself earlier in the trial. I can somehow show where Mondo's handbook is right now. Once I do that, everything will become clear. A new element's been added. Well, let's talk about Fever Time and Nega Time. Almost. During a bullet time battle, if you press the space key, Fever Time will activate and the tempo will be forced to its max. At this point, even if you push the buttons at random, you won't miss. So you can push right mouse, left mouse, right mouse, left mouse, however you want to destroy the opponent's verbal assault. But this only lasts until your focus gauge runs out, to make the best possible use of your time. Of course, it wouldn't be fair if only you got active special time, right? We also prepared something called the Nega. Almost. The Negatin! Time that your opponent can use. I feel wrong saying that. It's just... If the opponent activates Nega almost the Negatin! Time during the bullet time battle, your tempo marker will disappear, making it quite a bit tougher to hit the buttons in rhythm. If you were to activate fever time at this point... No, never mind. I'm sure nothing would happen. I don't know what I was worried about. Who are you, narrator? You have a personality. This is, like, interesting. Who is the narrator? Is the narrator, like, the quote-unquote mastermind they've been talking about the entire time? Unsurprisingly, if your action difficulty is set to gentle, the opponent won't use negative. Almost.
The negative!
Sign. Well then, good luck and have fun.
Show me some evidence! You're wrong! I won't listen! I refute you! False! Show me some evidence!
Have we already gone through all of its voice lines?
I won't listen! False! I refuse to vote! Show me some evidence! You're wrong! I won't listen! I refute you!
I have no...
False!
Am I supposed to like, guess where they are?
Show me some evidence! I won't listen! False! You're corrupt! I refuse to vote!
Do I just spam
refute
it?
you! False! You're corrupt! Show me some evidence! I won't listen!
Oh,
I
there it
refuse
is.
to vote!
I refuse to vote.
Show me some evidence!
This should prove it.
If my thinking so far is right, Mondo must have replaced his broken handbook with Leon's. In which case, we can just check each of our handbooks right now. Once we do that, we'll...
We don't gotta do that.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I did it. I killed him.
Only a B? What was I supposed to do when the dots disappear? I'm surprised I lasted as long as I did. I thought I was gonna lose.
Bro! What are you saying?
I got no choice, man. After hearing all that, I gotta just... give up. Go ahead, Monokuma. Get it over with. Ask for the goddamn verdict.
Roger that.
Wait! Hold on!
No waiting, no holding on. Time for the moment we've all been waiting for. Grab your lever and give it a yank! Who will you elect as the Blackened this time around? Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one? What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
Oh.
What?
All my assumptions and like guesses of who might be guilty or suspicious completely wrong. I said it was likely a girl or Byakuya. I was right that it wasn't Toko though. I was pretty adamant about that. I'm proud of that. Well, I have to do the voices all over again. I like when they do Monokuma's voice for me. It's late right now. I'm gonna... Okay. Uh-oh. This time it looks like you got it right again. Yes, it is so. The Blackened that killed Chihiro from Chisaki was... Mondo Owada. Oh, how do you say... Owada? Mondo Owada.
Unbelievable.
In case you're wondering, the vote was not unanimous. Kiyotaka chose the wrong answer. If treading very close to the danger zone, Mr. Ishimaru. You need to be more careful. I refuse to believe it. There's no way he'd kill someone.
Sorry.
Oh my god.
What is this?
Why are you apologizing? Why? Why? Why did you do it?
Now then.
Well, it looks like Mondo's taking a vow of silence. So, allow me to explain on his behalf.
Actually...
The story of the murder this time is a sad story of two men. Oh, but for anyone who doesn't really want to hear it, you can hit the control key to fast forward the text. Are the characters going to react to Mondo, like fourth wall breaking? No. Anyway, there was once a young boy, and his name was Chihiro Fujisaki. He had an extreme inferiority complex regarding his own lack of strength. You're so weak, even though you're a boy. He'd heard things like that as long as he could remember, and he couldn't overcome his weakness. On the contrary, he tried to hide and buried himself further and further into that weakness. To take on the fragile form of a petite young girl. He had chosen that as his way out. Now, nobody will be able to say anything about even though you're a boy. But no matter how tightly he wrapped himself up in that shell, the inferiority complex had already taken root deep inside of him, and was not so easily weeded out. As it turned out, the shell was completely empty. The complex didn't disappear, instead, it only grew stronger and stronger. Weak.
Weak, 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 weak.
Once the killing game had begun here at the school, he had no choice but to accept this fact. After all, the world is survival of the fittest. If you're not strong, you don't survive. And then the lovely and hateful Monokuma announced the revealing of the embarrassing secrets. Which, of course, included Chihiro's embarrassing secret, which I was more than willing to divulge. Even though he dresses like a girl, Chihiro is actually a boy.
Hey,
And that was something Chihiro couldn't let anyone find out, no matter the cost. Was Chihiro planning a murder? What if Chihiro was going to try to kill Mondo? If that was revealed, it would be the end. The hard shell would crack. The armor would fall away. Without a doubt, those around him would torture him more than ever before. Everyone figured being thrust into such a dilemma must have sent him spiraling into despair.
What?
And yet...
I'm sorry.
I don't really want to talk about it right now. But I also don't want to leave things the way they are. So maybe I can talk about it later. After I try my best to become strong, then I can tell everyone. Annoyingly, he used a threat of discovery to motivate himself to become stronger. It's like tough as shit.
That's right.
How's my chance?
I want to change.
I'm going to get stronger and accept who I am. Strong enough that when someone says, even though you're a boy, I'll be okay. I'll get better. With that thought, at the front of his mind, he resolved to take immediate action. And so, that day, he made the commitment to begin exercising. He was prepared to retrain his body and mind. But sadly, that would be the first and only chance he would get at it.
Hey,
When he decided to start exercising, he thought it would be good to ask someone for help. But he wanted to tell that person his secret first, and then ask them to help him from there. And the person he went to...
Yeah, that's right.
It was me. Yeah, it sure was. The biker gang fella had been painfully clear about how important his manly promises were. So, Chihiro probably figured that even if he confided in Mondo, his honor would make him keep the secret. Plus, Mr. Macho Mondo was the very symbol of a strong man that Chihiro had always aspired to. Maybe talking to Mondo about it would give me some courage. So he went and asked Mondo to help him become strong. Is that supposed to say Monokuma? That was his aspiration. And he thought that only with Mondo's support would he ever be able to come close to that.
Correct.
So then, that must be why Mondo did what he did, to keep the promise he made to Chihiro. Huh? Did what he did? I mean, that's why Mondo carried Chihiro from the boys' locker room into the girls' locker room?
Indeed.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. Oh, isn't that cover up what he done?
Certainly.
That could have been part of it, but I don't think it was the main reason. The real purpose was to keep the promise between them he'd made to Chihiro. But how does moving the body keep the secret?
Because
if everyone knew he'd been killed in the boys' locker room, then everyone would have been arguing about how she got into the boys' locker room, right? Once that started up, at least a few of us would have immediately begun to suspect his identity, so... He tried to protect Chihiro's secret by putting him in the girls' locker room and stealing his handbook, see? Then, Mondo did all that to keep the promise he made to Chihiro, who he also killed? Why? Why would he do that? The more I hear you talk, the more I don't understand. I mean, you guys trusted each other, right? So why? Why did you? Because no matter what, he didn't want anyone to know.
I knew it.
So that's what triggered it, after all. The possibility of having your embarrassing memories and secrets exposed.
What is this?
That's impossible. Nothing could have been that bad. Something he didn't want anyone to know, even if it meant killing someone? Wait, are they trying to suggest that he killed Chihiro to protect his secret? Because if Mondo just murdered someone completely different, then even if Mondo was caught, the secrets would still say secret.
You're wrong!
It's impossible!
Don't make me repeat myself.
How many times must I repeat myself? To judge others by your own standard is the height of folly. Even if you can't comprehend it, you obviously can. That's all there is to it. Well, while we're on the subject, why don't I tell you? That embarrassing memory, that secret he didn't want anyone to know.
Hey,
You know what Mondo did? He killed his own brother. Did he really have to reveal it? Like, the whole point of killing someone is to keep it down, right? Mondo, the ultimate biker gang leader, makes all the hoodlums and riffraff across the country tremble. Crazy Diamond. Is he like actually a JoJo reference? Whatever. But the only reason he had the chance to join the gang in the first place was because of a certain someone. Mondo's older brother's name was Daya Owada. Mondo had nothing but respect for him. It was because of Daya that Mondo ever even got on a motorcycle. Mondo's brother was his only family growing up. He was the only one Mondo could trust or respect. He wanted to measure up to his big brother, so he imitated him in everything he did. Mondo was the epitome of a starry-eyed kid brother. Meanwhile, a charismatic older brother had put together a local motorcycle gang. And before anyone knew it, it had grown into the biggest biker gang in the country. Daya, the older brother, #1 in the gang, and his #2, his younger brother, Mondo. In the beginning, everything was peaches and gravy. But when Mondo started to think about how he would have to take over the gang from his brother someday, his brother's greatness, his reputation, began to gnaw on Mondo's very soul. The kid's gonna take over for Daya, huh? Daya created this game with his bare hands. Mondo's just along for the ride. Can someone like that really be our leader? All that'll do is make the gang look bad. Almost every day, Armando heard the gossip and whispers of the other members of the gang. Which is why...
I
gotta get stronger. Stronger than Daya. Once. Just one time. No matter what, I gotta win.
Don't fuck with me.
I don't care what it takes. I gotta come out on top. And on the night of his amazing brother's retirement ceremony, Mondo challenged him to a street race. But during the race, tragedy struck. The kid brother pushed ahead with reckless abandon, eager for victory, and dashed into oncoming traffic. But suddenly... laying in his kid brother's arms, the older brother delivered his final words. My bad, kid. Fucked up. I'm sorry. Of course, he knew it was his brother's fault, but Daya never blamed him for what happened. Kid, the rest is up to you. No matter what, you gotta keep the gang together. This is the team, you and me, put together. It's a promise between men. He decided to hide the truth of what happened from everyone else in the gang. In order to keep the gang together and keep the promise to his brother. He could never admit to anyone that it was his own weakness that caused the accident. And as a result, the team was made even stronger under the banner of the kid who bested his big brother. Daya was going to lose to his kid brother, so he got stupid and got himself killed. That became the explanation for what happened. Mondo's lie became the truth. He wanted to lead the team so bad, he was willing to tell all kinds of lies about his brother.
I'm
strong. Strong, 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 strong. Yeah. As soon as our killing game began, he realized no matter how tough he pretended to be, he was just another weakling that could die in an instant. And then the hateful Monokuma announced the revealing of the embarrassing secrets. At that point, it was clear I would have no problem shedding light on his secret. Mondo killed his own older brother. No matter what, I couldn't let the other gang members find out. If that happened, everything would have been ruined. Everything me and my brother worked to create would have been destroyed. All the guilt I'd been carrying around, it all would have been for nothing. That's why Mondo. After I saw what Monokuma had on me, my head filled up with a kind of fuzzy uneasiness. Just started swirling around. I've never felt anything like it before. I didn't know what to do about it. I wasn't sure what to think or say, but after a while, the fuzzy uneasiness turned itself into a rock-hard lump of anxiety way down in my stomach. And it was right around then that Chihiro asked me to start working out with him. And right there, he told me a secret. Seriously? Jesus.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry I lied to you. But why? Why now? Why are you telling me this all of a sudden?
Huh?
Because, I mean, you've kept a secret all this time, right? If anyone found out, you would...
But...
You're right, but...
I want to change.
I wrapped myself in lies. I'm weak. I want to destroy that version of me forever. His words were like a knife in my gut. I felt like he was exposing the lie I'd been living in myself. I have to change. I don't want to be weak anymore. You're so strong. It can't hurt you, right? Whatever secret Monokuma might tell us.
You piece of...
So what? You're saying I should just say it?
What?
You're saying if I really am, I should be able to tell everyone my secret.
Huh?
I was jealous. I was jealous of Chihiro's strength. He had the strength to face his own weakness, to try and overcome it. It's the kind of strength I never had. So I was jealous of him. And that jealousy broke me.
What?
You're making fun of me? I'm strong? You fucking with me right now?
No!
I'm not making fun of you. You really are strong, Mondo. Felt like I could hear something starting to creak. Something inside my head. What did you want me to do? What was I supposed to do? Was I supposed to just sit back, let my secret get revealed, and ruin everything?
What's wrong?
Damn you!
Why did you have to tell me all that? Why are you trying to rub my failure in my face?
I just wanted to...
Oh, I just really admire you. I admire your strength.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. I am fucking strong. Strong. I'm strong. Strong, 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 strong. Stronger than you.
You son
and
of a
stronger
bitch.
than Daya. I don't remember anything after that. When I woke up again, he was laying at my feet, he covered in blood. I had the dumbbell in my hand, but I was just staring at him on the ground. Hey!
I killed him. I killed Chihiro. Even after all this time, I'm still just as weak as I've always been. And thanks to that, I did something I can never take back.
Mondo. He was normally so aggressive, so angry. He hid that weak side away from everyone. That was the secret. A weakness like that lived in a heart like his, and it turned him cold-blooded. God damn it. Look at him, you see? You're all just like him. For a secret from the past. For a memory. He killed another living being in cold blood. He couldn't cut free of his regrets from the outside world. He doesn't know what true strength is. Do you see hope anywhere in there? Because I sure don't. You bastard. Shut up, you son of a bitch. Go ahead. Say that again. I dare you.
Yep.
Okay. I'll say as many times as I want. As what I want to say. But unfortunately, I can't do that right now. Because the time for punishing is fast approaching. Punishing?
It can't be.
You mean execution?
Well now, well now, well now, well now.
That's what I promise you, right? The blackened that disturbs the peace will be punished.
Ridiculous.
Hold on.
Now then, I prepared a very special punishment.
For Mondo Owada, the ultimate biker gang leader. No, wait.
Let's give it everything we've got. It's punishment time.
Wait. Oh,
Sorry, man.
holy shit, it's like actually brutal.
I couldn't keep the promise we made. From one man to another.
No. Fuck. Oh, that's fucking insane. They made him into butter? They just like beat Leon to death and that was the end of it. And then for him it's like, oh, we're gonna process your corpse into butter? Holy fuck. Oh, laugh at death and your soul forever be at peace. It can't be. My brother. Another murder and another execution. I want to feel again. Everyone's lives are taken so lightly here. I feel like I might be going mad. Maybe I just let it happen. use the same exact scream line twice in a row. As Taka's sad screams invaded our skulls, we were each forced to realize once again. But he, of course, he had to. What a disappointment. This is the end of the game. But, Byakuya, what do you mean, what a disappointment? You were trying to frame somebody you knew was innocent.
What is this?
You're completely insane, you know that? A game? One of your friends is dead. Do you realize that?
Naturally.
Of course I do. Because this game is life or death.
Hey,
I don't have anything to say to you. I don't have a response. Except that
however,
I just don't understand why. Why did you go out of your way to disguise Mondo's crime?
What?
Why? Isn't it obvious? Because I've made things more interesting. His voice was calm, emotionless, like the voice of death. It chilled me to the bone. Last night, when the murder took place, I was in the library as usual. And I felt like stopping in on the girls' room. Not to like do any weird pervy stuff, but just get a pump in. You see, I'm actually a woman too. I mean, I'm a woman, unlike Chihiro. So I just walked in, like normal, trying to get my pump on. And then I saw a body. And that like confused me. I thought, oh, this would be way more fun.
Honestly.
So, you ignored the nighttime rule too. That rule never mattered to me. I don't recall agreeing to it.
There is nothing
Well,
to be done.
I don't particularly care. Please continue. The night grew late, and I decided to return to my room, which is when I stumbled upon it. I spotted Mondo coming out the girls' locker room. After he'd gone, I looked inside and saw the corpse.
What?
You mean you actually witnessed the murder? This dude is insane. He was such a fool. He didn't have the slightest idea that I'd seen him.
Well...
Oh. You're saying you knew who the culprit was from the very beginning? For some reason, every time I start Hifumi's voice, I start like doing Monokuma's, and then I switch to like the nerd voice.
That's right.
Indeed. But if that had been the end of it, how boring would that have been? I mean, what a waste of time to have the answer revealed right at the beginning. Which is why I decided to lend a little helping hand. I thought it would liven things up. You did all that to liven things up?
I see.
So, after hearing about Genocide Jack from Toko, you decided to use that to create the fake murder scene.
But
Damn, man. If we hadn't figured out who'd really done it, you would have been dead too, right? Well, obviously, I would have revealed the truth before it reached that point. Of course. Byakuya turned and looked me in the eye. I could feel his sharp eyes piercing into me. Thanks to a certain remarkable someone, it never did, and I was able to perform an interesting experiment. Yeah, I still don't think he's capable of murder. Like, he's doing all this to, like, pretend he's, like, tough and edgy. But, like, deep down, like, he can't do shit. Once I do decide to become blackened, I now know who I'll have to watch out for. Whoa.
Correct.
So that was your reason? Are you satisfied?
Indeed.
Yes. I'm done listening to your story. Moving on.
Hey.
There's something I'd like to ask Monokuma.
What's this?
Oh, I'm up next.
You...
You like to perform these elaborate executions each time, correct? My question is, why? Do you like them? But you know, this punishment is despair. It's not just for you. Punishment Hell's despair is my gift to mankind itself. This is like way too cool and inspiring the music you're already saying.
What?
You're over-exaggerating. I'm not over-exaggerating. These punishments are meant to transform all hope into despair.
Damn.
What do you mean?
Huh?
Mean? My god, my voice is like starting to give out. I'm recording this one like immediately after the last episode too. And the trial went on longer than I thought it would. I'm running out of voice. Mean? Mean?
What the heck?
Me. Good grief! I don't understand why you have to pick apart every little stupid thing. Whatever. It doesn't matter. In the end, I'm going to stand alone as the victor, and then everything will be revealed to me.
Ooh,
The
how
noble son of a noble
exciting.
family. Truly, you understand me. I think this is the start of a terrifying friendship.
That's enough.
Shut up. I would never stoop to the level of a childish criminal like you. Let me just say this. After I have achieved complete victory, you're up next. Like, what the hell is he talking about? I'm going to find you and kill you. Understand?
In the name of my family.
For which victory is a foregone conclusion.
You're getting all riled up.
Oh, you're so cool. It's like you're the main character of a video game or something. No trash mob for you? I swear, whatever it takes, I will kill you. Tapper. Sounds like someone needs a nap. Monokuma's laughter peeled across the courtroom, and the curtain closed in the case of Chihiro and Mondo. But I knew that wasn't the end. The killing game would still continue. Because the mastermind wouldn't let it end. For those of us who were still alive, our worst fear and despair kept on multiplying. It was the kind of despair that felt like a blind puppy in hell and had more time. It was like the kind of despair that felt like a blind puppy in hell had more of a future than us. All of our courage, our effort, our friendship, it felt like it amounted to nothing at all. It was the worst kind of despair.
Well, anyway, like I was saying, this is a pretty good spot. Yeah, a really good spot. Anyway, isn't it amazing how that girl went and killed someone before things even had a chance to get boring? Once things really get moving, it'll be like a roller coaster. There won't be any stopping it. Fear and despair charge forward at a speed nothing can hope to match. But I must admit, I'm disappointed. I went to all the pain and effort of making you part of the group, and you couldn't play your part. You do remember you were supposed to make the first move, right? Well, no biggie. Nothing we can do about it now, so just do your best to make things more exciting from now on, okay? After all, that's what everyone wants to see.
So, is this like one of us? There's one thing I'd like to ask you.
As long as you don't want to know my measurements, fire away!
Who is it? The 16th high school student, I mean.
Ooh. My, you really took me by surprise there. I know I said you could ask anything, but... Super denied, ultra denied, demonic denied! Because you see, that's my ace in the hole.
Monokuma's the student.
And nobody'd be dumb enough to reveal that, right? No matter how close they were to their friends.
So who's the traitor? Probably Owie. You received the crazy diamond present. Oh. This one went on a bit longer than I thought, and my throat hurt. That was pretty interesting. I feel like the way it gave away Mondo at the end was like too stupid. It's like after the whole trial, first it was Genocide Jack, and then it was Byakuya, and then out of nowhere, like Mondo just lifts up, and the entire thing turns on him. It was still very good, very entertaining, but that just felt like an anticlimactic way to give away who the killer is. Also, it was like actually upsetting to see how far Taka was going to defend his bro. Like us doing the little battle thing against him and not Mondo himself. That's pretty interesting. But I hope you enjoyed this too. If you did watch this far, leave a comment. Tell me if you managed to guess who it was before I did. I had no clue it would be Mondo. Like, I think I might have even said I don't think it would be him because Mondo wouldn't hurt a woman. But I guess my reasoning wasn't flawed. That'll be it then for this one. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.